It takes a lot to create a video game. You gotta make it fun, it's gotta look good, sound good, sometimes even have a story, or people to help perform the story, or sometimes it's Bowser's Inside Story. We'll come back to that. You also have to choose a day for it to release, although this one is normally pretty easy and inconsequential. Right? I mean, you could make a fantastic game, market it and everything, put evil genius Hideki Kamiya behind it. Okay, nothing attached to this man is ever destined to fail. But if you release it at the same time as Grand Theft Auto 5... See, I believe there are two types of bad Nintendo games. The ones that are actually bad, fundamentally flawed, and deserve to be ostracized, and the unfortunate ones that, due to a certain timely circumstance, suffered either negative reception or poor sales. Today, please join me as I open a case for many examples of the latter. And you know what? Let's just get it right out of the way. The Mario and Luigi series has recently made
Don't call it a comeback!
a new game with Brothership on the Switch, because the last entry in the series before it was almost 6 years prior. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, a 3DS remake of a DS game in 2019. Let me explain. Alpha Dream had put out these titles consistently from the GBA through the 3DS, but around the time of the Alpha Team, around the time of Dream Team, things took a heavy financial dip. The company found themselves massively in debt and decided a cheap return on investment would be to remake the Game Boy Advance's Superstar Saga. Classic. The game already proved its numbers, and asset reuse could make it relatively inexpensive. Plus, it was a 15-year-old game that couldn't be played on a 3DS, so it had the potential to bring a new market to their knees, fighting Cackleta's soul 30 times in a row. And the final product is a great game, probably the best way to experience Superstar Saga, although ironically regarding that Cackleta joke, it is much easier. But it sold like blue vein ass, with a big theory being that Nintendo fans were distracted by the recently released Nintendo Switch. Yeah, that's a load of bullshit. Obviously, developing this game for the Switch would have been better, but that's costly and much trickier than the console you've already put 3 games out on. Switches were hard to find then, too, so even if the 3DS wasn't at its ripest, it was still probably the best platform for Alpha Dream, just as long as they don't do it. You already know how this ends. In March of 2018, 1 year after the Switch launched, Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. Yeah, I don't know why, but when I recorded this, I kept saying DX. is announced for 2019, and it does in fact come out in January of that year, and proceeds to become one of, if not the worst selling Mario games, and the company goes bankrupt later that year.